Howdy there, friends. Welcome back. I am your host, Romedy, and today we've got our very first challenge accepted, challenge completed. We got a little bit of hidden stair action going on. Um, little bit bigger than I would really like, but what can you do, you know? Um, I'm sure that there is probably a way to get this condensed down. I am just not smart enough to do it. But bottom line is, we've got us a little bit of stairs here, and they'll seal up all nice. So yeah, thanks to Silent Kill 9841, he was one who issued the challenge. Now let's get to building it. Okie dokie then. First things first, we need a little platform. We're going to go 4 up. 1, 2, cut those out. And now to get our platform, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 across. We want it to be an odd number because we are going to need to center things here. And now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm just going to go out 8, kind of picking that arbitrarily, just to kind of have a semblance of where our floor is going to be at here. And now we need to come back here and find this block in the center of this side. Grab a sticky piston, and right off the edge here we're going to go up 2, hole in the ground, piston in the hole. Cut these 2 out of the bottom there. And now what we've really done is we have made where our stairs are going to go, which is kind of convenient. So these guys are going to be the center of a block swapper, and we need those block swappers to be where that wool is on either side. And now we need to have normal pistons running on that side. And now the same for here, normal pistons. Now to get the rest of our block swapper action going on, we need a block on the corner, and we are going to cut out this second one that we had put here. And now block below, just like that. And now again below here. Cut this guy back out. We need now a repeater in that gap and a little bit of redstone here. And now we come underneath of that block we just put redstone on and put a torch. Now to the other side of this, we are pretty much just going to make a mirror image. So block on the corner, 1, 2, come around here, 2, cut out in the middle, cut out below, a little piece of redstone here. Now down below we need torch here, and now repeater facing away, out toward the end of everything. So that is most of our first block swapper done. The only thing we need now is a little bit of power. So we're going to get a sticky piston right here off of that redstone, and now a redstone block right here. And now if we go get a button, we can go ahead and run this thing. Now the one out there is not going to work. Obviously this one is not either, because you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to put in our floor. Now let's put our torch back. There it is. Button. And now we've got floor up. And now if we run it again, stairs up. I'm going to go back to floor here, I think. There it is. Okie doke. To finish off the second set of block swappers here, what we need is this torch and a little bit of redstone coming off of that torch. Now, this yellow block is what we need to power. So we're going to come below and out, cut this one off, and then out again, just like that. And now a little bit of redstone coming up, sorry about that, into a repeater. The other side, we're just going to mirror image what we just did. So let's come down here and find our torch. 1, 2, 3, 4 out. Again, we need to power this guy here. So 1, 2. And now this guy is now a block. Redstone, redstone into a repeater. And that should be our block swappers done. So now if we come over here, we should be able to run. So there's stairs. And now, there we go, there's 4. The next thing that we want to do is run our control line, and I'm going to do that with some red wool. Our control line is going to replace what we were using for our button. So button off, that redstone is going to come, I'm sorry, this red block is going to come off of the redstone on top of there. block, block, cut it out, block, block, cut it out, and this time out 2, and 1 more. And now what we're going to do from here is, underneath this one is a torch, top of this and another torch, into this repeater on 2 delay, and then repeater here on 4 delay. And now that is our control line. We can come down here for our button. There it is. And now we can run up here like you see. So, there we go. There's the basis of it done. We can come back to this side now, and we can put in the rest of our stairs, just like that. And now, what we're going to come back and do is the T flip-flop that we're going to need to run everything here on the bottom. And then after that, we'll talk about the controls for this piston and this piston, because they're going to have kind of a secondary function that we need to control. So yep, we'll come back and do that here right now. Right then, we need a T flip-flop, and we need to run some control lines. And to do that, we're going to start right here on our torch underneath. Repeater here. Repeater off of the block on 4 delay. Redstone, redstone. Repeater, repeater. Repeater locked, now facing in, and a little bit of redstone. And now off of the end of this guy, we are going to have our control block. He's actually going to run everything else in the circuit that is not up here with the block swappers. So now we want to come around here and find that piston we stuck in the ground. Stair on top, stair in front. And now we need to build a little bit of our wall right there. And now a block of your choice on the back, build a little 2x2. Let's see here, repeaters into those blocks, redstone behind. And now this is something that could probably get condensed down. But for right now, we're just going to run it here around the outside. You know me. Not so concerned with it being the smallest or the fastest, but I do want it to be reliable. And right now it is. So when we come back here to our control block, we need repeater here on full, and another repeater on 2 ticks. Redstone dust here. Repeaters so that we do not crosstalk with that torch. And now redstone to connect them up. And now, for the other side of this thing, what we are going to need is some sticky pistons. So let's go find our stairs. We'll walk on top of those here. 1 block in between. And now sticky, 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 sticky. And now, for this facing upwards here, we need sticky there, sticky there. And now in that little cradle block of your choice works just fine. And now if we come behind these sticky pistons, we need blocks here on the bottom, and we need blocks right at the top. In the gap right here, not redstone blocks, we want redstone. And then off of that redstone here behind, we're going to go 2 and 2 and 2. Repeaters into those on full delay. Repeater here on just 1 delay, and then a little redstone. And now to actually run the control of those guys, we need a block here with a torch underneath. And now, same story as before. There's probably a way to condense this, but to get over there, we need a repeater off of the other side into a block. And now we need dust here on the side. 1 repeater, 2 repeater, into the back of a block, torch here, redstone dust, and now repeater into the back of that. And that should be the control there done. So if we go ahead and run the everything here, it should push up just like that. And now let's make sure it's going to go ahead and grab the blocks here, which it does. Excellent. So now we are very near completion. What we've got left to do is unfortunately the most difficult parts of this thing. It's the control lines on those 2 pistons right there. And we will, I think, be right back to do that. Alrighty. So this bit here I'm not real happy with, but I don't know how else to do it. So I think we're just going to have to deal with it. We need to come to right here by the stairs, and we need to start cutting blocks out all the way over to this torch, and we're going to have to do that underneath everything here. And now we are going to want to go 2 down with all of these, so we have this nice little pit right here, and we've done that because we need to get to this piston right here. And I do think we actually want to go 4, so I'm going to break another one out just like that. So like I said, we've got to operate this piston guy right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to use this torch to then run a sticky piston with a little redstone on the side. And immediately off of that redstone, we're going to go into a repeater on full delay, 2 bits of redstone, and repeater on another full delay. I'm going to get orange for this. Obviously use whatever you want. This orange for me, it's yellow. The orange for me is just going to be our NOR latch that we're going to build right here. Underneath of that piston, torch, repeater into a block. On the side of that block here, torch into a repeater facing in. So when we push the button over there, it's going to run this torch, which they'll then extend this piston, and we're going to link these guys together just like that. Pretty simple. And now what we've done is we've set up a NOR latch down here that will retract this piston quickly, but will extend it slowly. And we need it to do that so that the swapping action, or in this case just the pushing action here, will work okay. So now if we come back, this should be our stairs completed. So that worked okay. Now let's run it again. We'll go back up here. And now, sure enough, our stairs are now done. We can go all the way down. I'm also a little unhappy that these pistons here will show in your stairwell. But again, I don't know how to avoid it. I'm not sure how to do it a better way than that. So that's where we're at. I'm going to run this again and let that block there, because now this guy is where we need to turn our attention. And most unfortunately, he is difficult, and you will see why. Okie dokie, then we need to run the control for a very difficult to reach piston right here in the middle of the array. And I'm also a little unhappy with this bit, but the restriction of reaching the piston kind of dictates what we had to do. So we get to this center piston by putting a block off of our faux wall that we built in there. And now 2 blocks, 3 blocks on the bottom. Repeater, repeater, redstone dust. Now on top of this repeater here going into our control block is a block. On top of our control block is a repeater leading in. Behind that repeater, block like that, and now finally 1 more repeater in. So if you can follow that trail of light blue wool, you'll see how we get there. And now to control that piston, what we need is another NOR latch, similar to what we built down below. So we do that like this. Torch here, redstone dust. Again, I'm going to use orange for our NOR latch, and torch here. Now on top of that torch, facing away from the array, sticky piston and redstone block. Now the actual input for this is going to be right there with this torch, and now with that torch on, that block has been pushed up and our floor is now complete. And then off of the side of that, we are going to build our NOR latch, and it goes something like this. Repeater into that block, another torch, and repeater. Should recognize that, I think. And now to get our signal over there, we need to come to our piston, and we're going to run two separate lines. The first one is right here, just like this. Dust, repeater on 4 delay. I'm sorry, repeater on no delay. Dust, dust, dust. Sorry, that repeater is only, just normal repeater, no ticks of delay, just this normal setting there. Yeah, and then off of the side of this guy, as he is extended, we are going to have a repeater on 4 delay, dust, block, block, repeater on 4 delay, dust, and dust. And that ought to do it. If we now come down here and we go ahead and run our array, everything should now line up, which it looks like it does. We'll run it one more time. And there we go. So before we go a whole lot further with this thing now being done, all we've got left to do is just a little bit of aesthetics. I want to explain why we need the two arrays like this and why it kind of contributed to this thing being rather large. So I will do that section next, but first I am going to add a little bit of aesthetics, so I'll be right back. So before we tackle the reasons for all this, I do want to clarify one thing. The input for the entire circuit is this block right here. And there's not a best way to get anything down to this. It is run off of a T-flip, so you only have to use a button, no lever required, which is kind of nice. And we can go ahead and build ourselves a little line down just like that, and then run our redstone up here. And then all we need is ye old button right there. And we now have a very own secret staircase. So yeah, that's pretty much just the control line on everything right there. The problem, and this is going to be why we've got two of these, the major problem with this circuit is in these middle two blocks right here, that stair and that stair, because they have the same action, but they do them in opposite ways. This stair right here is just a normal block, what do you want to call that? Block swapper, there we go, that's the phrase. Except when it runs into the closed position, this block has to be pushed up, and that is the function of all of the orange over here. And then the light blue is just reaching that piston there in the center. And now if we look at this thing down here, you'll notice that this stair is one too far down from where it should be. So if we come back up here and run this thing, now that stair gets pushed up last. And that is the function of this wiring down here, is to control that piston, which was slightly easier to reach. But those two things, I could not find a good way to combine them together, because they have to do opposite things. The block needs to be dropped quickly, but it must be pushed up after everything else has run. And those two things are opposites, because here that block must be pushed up late, and now if we run it, that has to drop first, and that block has to push late. So it's not as simple as inverting a signal off of this NOR latch down there. You actually have to have an entirely separate array, or if you don't have to have it, I'm not intelligent enough to do it. Yep, so there you go. I like to take a moment and try to explain everything. I feel like it does help what you're doing to understand what all this stuff is about. So if you have questions, comments, leave them on the video. I'll do my very best to answer. And of course, this was, like I said, challenge number 1. I am interested what other challenges you've got, so let me know that as well. Thanks so much for watching, and see you next time.